Start.
Hi friends, hi everyone. Welcome you all to a very interesting session on campus in a law school, anchored by a very eminent and distinguished personality we have with us today in association with Jay's Academy and Jindal University. We have Mr. Deepu Krishna. Let's welcome Deepu Krishna. He is currently designated as Deputy Director of Outreach and Admissions at Jindal Global Law School, Jindal University, OP Jindal University. Talking about his academic achievements, he is a pass out of Bhopal, National Law School, Bhopal, and post that he has done his management as well. He has worked in various prestigious positions across India. He has worked as the youngest Vice President of CL Educate Limited. He has also various publications to his credit. He has written books on law and he has served as assistant professor in various universities like Kamavati and Oro University. Uh, he has around 14 years of experience in teaching across various universities and also being a part of management of these institutions, to being an entrepreneur who created his own brand, to finally selling it to join university teaching. He has immense experience in both offline and online education, online communities and talent industry, starting and leading two ventures that have achieved significant social and commercial impact. So he is a versatile genius, I should say. And also added to that, he has done his certificate courses from Harvard Graduate School of Education and University of California. So I think he is the best person to speak on life on campus of a law university. Let's welcome Deepu Krishnan. Welcome, Mr. Deepu.
Hi. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that great introduction. And
Yep.
welcome to each of the attendees here from Jindal Global Law School and also Academy. And I presume all of you know the topic, which is something which is really close to my heart. It's about law school life and how the degree which we call as BA LLB or as BBA LLB. I was a BA LLB, and then I further did my LLM and I did other courses also. And how it changed me, and what all are those specific things which is prompting, in fact, many students now to do law. Because I remember during my time when I had taken up law. So I'm a South Indian, and you can understand that, when you're a South Indian, the pressure to do engineering is always on you, because the moment you reach your 10th class, the pressure starts. So I was undergoing all those kind of pressures, and all of a sudden, when I started deciding upon that I wanted to do law, there was a great pressure on me from my family that no, you're not doing it. Even though down south in Kerala, law is a respectable profession, unlike in north, because in north there were a lot of things which had happened post independence. Even though before independence, if you see, almost all the freedom fighters, leaders, etc., they were all they were all lawyers. But after that, the image of law graduation all of a sudden took a hit, because of which a deep change happened in the mindset of people. But then national law schools had come up, the 5-year graduation had come up, and I had a calling from inside that I wanted to do this, this course, where in 5 years I'll be a double graduate, and then I'll get a kind of a power, which was something which really always, kind of encouraged me to go ahead and do this course. And believe me, I did not have all those attributes which are so important to become a lawyer back then when I was in 12th. I was a very shy boy. In fact, I'm a product of all boys school. So you can understand that someone who's coming from that background, someone who's coming from all boys school, would have been shy, underconfident, and I was not one of the best students also, believe me. I was a below average student. When I say below average student, I used to score somewhere around 70 to 80 percentage. And yeah, social sciences was something which I was very interested in, not because I was interested in history, but I was always intrigued by a concept called as power. So I always used to think that what gives a person such kind of a power like a police to tell me what is right and what is wrong. I also used to ask questions to my dad that how is this guy sitting in government and is governing over us? I understand that you are my father, so you have that kind of a right. But then that also I understood later in the later part in law school that a relation between a father and son is also legal in nature. So I was not born out of my choice. They were the ones who gave birth to me. So they have a legal duty to maintain me. So that was something which I realized later on. But believe me, when as a kid, I was very intrigued by it. What gives people the power to dictate terms on us? A police wala, who tells me that okay, you need to stand like this. He will challan me. What kind of a power do they have? So I was very intrigued by all these things. So civics was one subject when I read. I understood that okay, there is Lok Sabha, there is Rajya Sabha, there are people who have these kind of power. So that was something which I was interested in, and I thought study of law is all about these things. But believe me, it was much, much, much more than that. But that is something which prompted me. And moreover, not just that, I remember coming to a marriage of my relative in Chennai, and I wanted to meet all my cousins from IIT. Why did I want to meet them? Because I basically wanted to ask them because my brother had been to IIT, so I had a kind of many questions in my mind that where I wanted to go and ask them that how do you crack IIT? What it takes to be an engineer? So probably they will help me out. To my surprise, none of them turned up for the marriage. In fact, there was only one cousin of mine who was there, but that guy was very impressive. One look at it, and I was like, boss, this guy is definitely from IIT. Because the mannerism, the way he was talking to people. So I don't know how many of you remember this movie in Hindi called as Hum Aapke Kaun, where Salman Khan, the person who's the biggest villain as we speak right now, because of Sushant Singh's case and all, but during our time, Salman Khan was like a star. So Salman Khan acted in this movie called as Hum Aapke Kaun, and there he was a character who was like the ideal man, the ideal choice for everyone. And my cousin, whom I'm talking about, he was like that. He was like from us, from a toddler to the eldest one in the family to the teenager back then, like me, was totally impressed by this guy because the way he was speaking, the way he was behaving with people was so impressive. I was like, this guy definitely is from IIT. I need to go and have a chat with him. So I went and I had a chat with him. I said, Cheta, you are from IIT. I want to have some time with you because I want to understand what it takes to be an engineer. To which he gave me a very weird look and he said, hello, chill. He said, you come here for a marriage, enjoy the marriage. And after the marriage, let's sit together and we will discuss. I said, yes, yes, yes. So throughout the marriage, like a satellite, I was following him and I was trying to talk like him because he was so impressive. But after the marriage, he, dropped a bomb on me where he said, no, I am not an engineer. On the other hand, I am a lawyer. So, I was so hurt by the way he said he is a lawyer because that was not something which I had in my mind back then. But then he introduced me to the concept of 5-year program in law. He shared with me many news items where the 5-year law was catching up, where a student who was just a graduate was getting a package which was equivalent to a person who is getting post-graduated from an IIM. And he showed me India Today reports, he showed me Outlook reports, he showed me placement reports. He introduced me to the National Law School. Now, that is something which impressed me a lot. But much more than that, what impressed me is, he said, people be very clear about one thing. There are 3 skills which are going to be very, very important for you. You graduate from any IIT, you graduate from any scientific college, you go to any national law school, but there are 3 skills which are going to be very important to you in the coming years of your life. He said, 1, your analytical skills. How much can you analyze things? How much are you into the elements of things? If a newspaper article comes, are you someone who will just read it and just believe it and say, okay, whatever is written is right? Or are you someone who will think out of the box, who will think, is this right? Who will question these things and who will also question anything wrong which is mentioned, any wrong law which is created. So he should have that kind of an analytical bent of mind because we live in a country where everyone follows the crowd. This person who will do law will obviously have an analytical and a critical bent of mind. Any law which is made, he will always be inquiring. He will always be someone who will question whatever is made. He'll be someone who will try to know that what exactly is written is right or wrong. He will have a concept in his mind, rights of the people. When I say rights, believe me, I have a habit of asking this question when I come, when I come to centers. I'm very sad that this situation has happened, COVID has happened, and I'm here talking to you via using technology. But normally, if it was not the scenario, I would have been there at JS Academy and would have been interacting with you all live. But I do ask questions to students, and one of my important questions which I ask to students is, what do you mean by the concept called as rights? R-I-G-H-T, not the right and wrong, not the right and left, but right. And I get lots of answers from students. But seldom does any student get up and says, sir, rights are those which are mentioned in Constitution of India, or else somewhere they have to be mentioned. If they are not mentioned, they're not law. That is something which you gain in a law school, because we all go by the dictionary meaning of things. We all go by whatever is mentioned to us, or else narrated or comprehended by someone else to us. On the other hand, a student of law will stick to the rules of law because he knows things in our country are followed as they are written down. If something is not written down, it is not followed. For example, I'll give you the best example for which many of us law students and many social activists are also fighting. I'm talking about right to die. It's called as euthanasia. There are people who are suffering from terminal illness in our country. Their lawyers, their relatives, they all approach the Supreme Court of India and plead, please give this person euthanasia. That person is going to die anyway. So let's give him a death of respect. But the Supreme Court judge who's sitting in Supreme Court of India, for the matter of fact, is a human himself. He knows the fact, he reads the facts, and he's well versed with it. And he would say, you are absolutely correct. As a human, I feel pity for the person. But then I have to follow the as it is written in the Constitution of India. What is written in Constitution of India? Article 21 of the Constitution. It says, no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. It says a person's life or liberty in this country cannot be taken away unless and until a procedure established by law is not there. And moreover, right to life, it's a basic structure of Constitution. It's one of the most important rights which a person has. I'll give you an example. A mother who conceives a child, if she's in the 7th or 6th month and she's feeling very uncomfortable, she's like, what is this? This is very boring. No mother will feel like that, but I'm just saying that in case if she feels that, I need to abort this child. This is like getting really serious. My liberty is getting restricted. Can she do that? No. The reasons, the child inside the womb also has right to life. After 4th month, you cannot abort a child unless or until the mother, you have to choose between the mother and its child in the womb. Only then in exceptional circumstances you go for an abortion. Otherwise you cannot abort. That's the value of right to life, because there is no legal process enumerated, written down by the courts or by the legislature where it says that you can take away the life of a person through abortion, right? Similarly, as per Article 21, there is no process in this country to take away the right of a person. But yes, there is one process through which a person's right, a person's life can be taken away. You want to know what is that process? That process is death penalty. And death penalty is also given to a person in rarest of rare cases, where he has done something in a very brutal manner, where he has gone ahead and taken the life of another person in a rarest of rare cases. Only then the courts in India also give death penalty. Getting it? That is why euthanasia is not given as it is written now. The judge who's sitting in Supreme Court knows as a human the pain which that person is going through, but he cannot take things out of his pocket and give it to the person and say, okay, from my side, you can take right to that. No, he has to follow whatever is written down. That's how your critical reasoning or your ability to think in a reasonable manner, sticking to the rules, that's a kind of a quality which you imbibe in yourself. And as you progress, you will find you can choose any profession. These are the rules. These are the kind of principles which every profession is following. And written words, rules, regulations are followed by every organization. You go and work in Google also, which follows one of the best HR policies, but things are written there and they have to be followed. Mails are drafted and sent via HR to employees. This is how we expect you to behave. And you have to behave in that manner. You have to stick to the rules and regulations in that manner. In case if you want to challenge, you should have a critical bent of mind where you can go and challenge with the HR that, okay, this policy of yours does not protect the rights of the women. This may end up becoming a sexual harassment thing. And then they will be compelled. So what did you do? You thought critically. You understood? So critical reasoning or else analytical reasoning is very, very important. This is exactly how my cousin also explained it to me. He said, critical reasoning and something and a mind which can analyze things is much important. Second, managerial skill. You should know how to manage things, because in life we will find millions and millions of people. You give them an idea, they will tell you how problematic that idea is, what all the issues with that idea is, and how it's going to flop. But you will rarely find people who will sit there and who will tell you that, okay, this is a problem, but okay, we can go for a solution like this. You know what he's doing? He's managing things. It's called as an art. Management is basically an art. He's trying to find solutions to a given scenario where hundreds and hundreds of people are finding issues too. Because see, at the end of the day, we all like solutions, right? We are not people who would want to run away from issues. Yeah, as I said, in a group of 100, 98 people would be there who will only be showing you problems. Okay, this is that, this is that, this is that. And you can look at the condition of our country. I mean, I'm talking to students of Kerala. Now, why could Kerala handle the COVID situation so beautifully? There are reasons behind it. The reason is Kerala had an experience of handling Zika, Nipah. You understand that there was a situation when these pandemics had a kind of a rendezvous with the people in Kerala, or with the management in Kerala, or with the health officials in Kerala once. They know the situation much better than people in the north. People in the north did not care. People in the north, the rarest of rare thing which once happened was in Surat when plague happened long back. And after that, they improved. If you go to Surat city, it's one of the most beautiful cities. I would advise all of you to once visit the city. It's one of the most beautiful cities ever built, but only after pandemic struck. And they have followed all the hygienic methods post that. Today, when this thing happened, because they were not prepared. Now, plague never happened there. No other things happened there. But they were not ready to somehow adapt to such kind of a pandemic which spreads through human interaction also. So if it comes to cleanliness or anything, they are very good. That's what I'm saying. But on the other hand, Kerala was much, much more prepared. And moreover, kudos to the health officials in Kerala. Kudos to the health officials in Kerala who, and moreover the nurses and all the medical officials, they basically train in Kerala with a dream that one day they're going to fly out of the country, right? They go to US, they go to UK, you go to any part of the world, you go to a medical facility, 110% you're going to find someone Malayali there, someone from Kerala there. So they even train themselves world class. Now, what am I doing here? I'm trying to critically analyze that situation and also see the managerial ability of people vis-a-vis these things when they happen. Believe me, I had a first-hand experience also of this, because in February we were there in Kerala in Cochin for a webinar. We had a session at Nuval's Cochin, the National Law School in Cochin. So I remember in Delhi airport, I and my colleague were the only ones who were wearing masks, and there were people who were laughing at us. They were like, these guys have gone crazy. While there were some of our colleagues also who were saying, well, what are you doing? It's not that serious. I said, no, I don't think so, because I do see a lot of Malayalam news, etc. So my mother was very cautious, that she was like, no, you have to wear a mask. So when we reached Kerala, we realized the gravity of situation, because even our vice chancellor was also with us. He was carrying the top class, the elite class ticket also, even then, everyone was asked to wait. Everyone was getting checked thrice. Thermal screening. They also were testing our temperature. They were also seeing if there is any health issue which we are facing. If anyone had a small issue also, that person was taken for additional testing. So you see, that's how management is done. That's how you find solutions to it. While if you see in the north, things were not like that. Even when we came back to Delhi, they were not precarious enough. And then you see what has happened. You know, Delhi and Bombay has gone into a totally different world. Managerial skill is very important. Your ability to foresee things, your ability to critically analyze things and to find solutions is very, very important. It comes with experience, but it also comes with knowledge. It also comes with your ability to see, foresee, and also predict certain things. That is managerial. Okay, critical reasoning, that is analytical reasoning, managerial ability. Now comes the next and the most important skill which you should have, which is communication skills, which I was pathetic in, believe me. I was very, very bad. When I was in 12th standard also, I remember when the teacher used to nominate my name for thought for the day, or even to read out the news headlines, during our prayer time, etc. I'm convent educated, so that's a demeanor which they followed. I remember I used to fall on the feet of the teacher and saying, ma'am, I can't. I'm getting goosebumps in my stomach. I can't. I'm going to fall sick. I'm going to collapse there on the stage. That's how I was. But then in law school, 5 years, leave 5 years, in the very first year, the kind of a change which happened in me, not just that they induced me to speak, they also induced me to speak in a certain manner. They induced me to know how to speak, the pitch, the verbose, the vocabulary, judging the audience. Everything is taught to you in a law school. And I remember these instances from my law school when I was the first trimester, which was our first semester. So in my law school, they have trimester system. It's like the law school I graduated from. Trimester means every 3 months your course gets complete. It sounds very good, but it's very hectic. But it was fun. So every trimester, we used to have 5 presentations of 5 subjects, including English. In English, we were expected to read a book, critically analyze the book, critically analyze the author, and then come and present in front of 79 students who are sitting in front of you, plus your faculty and one external who will be coming from Delhi University or NLS Bangalore or somewhere else. Now, in front of these people, you are presenting. How many times? Within the first 3 months, you are presenting it 5 times. And when you are presenting, you cannot go there and say, I'm shy, because you are getting marked on it. And if you do not score well, you flunk. And when you flunk, it's repeat, re-repeat, special chance, done. Okay? So there is a scare. And moreover, you're standing, the 79 people with whom you are sharing the class are all geniuses. They have all cracked the examination and are standing in front and are sitting in front of you. But then you do your own setting. You go and tell your friends. You tell your friends, don't ask me questions. Buddy, bro code, etc., etc. But everything goes for a toss, because the moment you start giving presentation and your presentation ends, you won't believe it. Something is going to happen now. Your friends are not going to ask you questions, but the faculty sitting there is very smart. He'll tell all your friends 5 marks extra for a student who will ask him a question which he's not able to answer. And then starts the onslaught. Everyone is going to ask you so many questions, and so difficult questions. So all those friends of yours turn vultures. But you know what? You're getting trained for the worst in life. You're going to be trained for a time when you're standing in front of Supreme Court of India, and the judge of Supreme Court is asking you questions relating your case. And how can you face the situation? You have to be prepared. You should have done your management properly. You should have critically analyzed the case properly. And now you should have developed your communication skills in such a manner that even if the judge is irritated, he's asking you questions which are out of the world, but you are able to answer to the questions in the best possible manner, in the best demeanor, with a smile on your face, and convincing him that what you are saying is correct. And you do this in 5 years, just count it. In 1 year, you are doing it 3 times, 3 into 5, 15 times. In 1 year, you are doing it. By the time you are in the third trimester, which is the final trimester, you become a dude. You are fully prepared. You do your research well. You have done analysis of the latest things, and you are asking questions. A Supreme Court judgment has come out. You are critically analyzing it in front of your faculties and your friends. You are saying the judge did not see these things. The judge was wrong. The judge should have seen these things. Can you believe it? This is what happens in a law school. You are challenging authority of a judge, and you are saying that he was wrong. And then the faculty will also agree with you. Say, perfect, what you are saying is right. You can even challenge legislations. You can, because this is something which you are being taught. You are not reading formulas. You are not reading, any set down principles by someone, etc., etc. Yes, they will be taught to you as legal principles, but you get to critically analyze them also. I did a lot of those things. I was a Marxist during my life when I was in third year. Till third year, I was a Marxist, proper Marxist. I believed in Marx. But then I did a lot of research. I went to JNU. And after that research, I found, no. I read about Lenin. And I could realize that whatever Lenin did was personal for him, his entire story. So I critically analyzed it. And in the fourth year, I came and I gave a presentation. So I was registered by a lot of Marxist friends. It was fun, but believe me, it was fun. And that's exactly what law school is all about. And not just this, there are many activities also. There is something called as moot court, where you will be given a real life case which has happened. Probably they would be discussing something like the India-China border issue right now, that who's right in international law context. The banning of TikTok, is it legal in nature? So these are the things which will be given to you as a moot court. There will be externals who will be called to the campus as judges, and it is done in 3 tiers. In the first year, you're going to meet seniors only. Your seniors are going to judge you. The second tier, we as alumni go, and in the final tier, there will be people from High Court, etc., or Supreme Court who will come and judge you. And then comes competitions, etc. So these are the things which happen. Plays, for example, arts and etc. I had never done stage shows or acting in my school life unless and until I did not go to law school. And I played the character of Krishna in a play, which was something which we had created by our own. One of my friends who was from Bihar, he created that script, and believe me, that script was appreciated by National School of Drama. I discussed with you what was the script. The script was so interesting. The script was where this guy turned around the entire Mahabharata, and he said the Kaurav were actually the rightful people on the land called as Indraprastha, the entire Kurukshetra, that entire area. They were the rightful owners. Pandavas, on the other hand, were 5 brothers who were very powerful, supported by a lawyer who was Krishna, the character played by me. And these 5 people, Yudhishthira was a politician, Arjuna was an IPS officer, Bhishma was was a don, the land grabbing don. And these 5 brothers, the way they took off land from the Kauravas, done in one of the best manners, where we also criticized the land reforms and the Transfer of Property Act in India. We questioned the specific field of law and the loopholes in it, that how things happen. Understand that? And it was appreciated. It was appreciated by everyone. And that was me for the very first time in my life. I was playing a character on the stage. I could never believe it, but it happened. That's college life. And then we went to many fests, many cultural fests, and all IITs and IIMs, whenever they have fests, etc., they would invite National Law School students also, because they call us the spice makers. They're like, when these guys come, they bring a lot of spice, because we are always updated on the recent controversies and all. So Model United Nations, etc. You might have seen now IITs and IIMs also do Model United Nations. While the idea was coined by National Law School Bangalore, they were the ones who said, okay, let's encourage people to discuss world issues. And slowly, it became a huge brand. Now you can see everyone doing Model United Nations. So these are those concepts and these are those things which happen. Additionally, you gain a lot of social respect also. Okay, one final line which I want to tell each one of you is, with this, if you are all this is going to happen if you are utilizing your 5 years of your life in the best possible way. you're reading, you are a diligent student. I'm not saying that you're a bookworm, that you're always, I was a cricket player, I was a football player, I was a volleyball player, to do everything. But yes, I used to read also. I used to attend my classes also. And attending of classes is one of the most important thing in law school. That's why when I tell students that you should, when you're selecting a law school, be very clear about the faculties. So when you're selecting a law school, go to the page of faculty, go through them, at least meet some alumni. And all national law school people, they have a habit of praising their own law school. So when you talk to them, try to also understand the negative vibes. And if they are critical about their faculty, there is a problem. Largely, they're not critical, but then I'm saying you also need to see the manner in which law is being taught. I was lucky enough, that's where I consider myself very lucky, that when I was in law school, our law school got some of the best faculties like Professor Madhav Menon, Professor Moolchand Sharma, Professor V.S. Rekhi, Professor Surya Deva. I remember their names still, even now I remember their names, because that's the impact they had on my person. I'm talking about 2006. I graduated long back in 2006. From that moment, I remember their name, because that was the impact these people had on my life, and that's what they have taught me. Even when I take classes, many of the examples which I still use were taught by them to me. I remember there is a subject in law called as jurisprudence, where they teach you science of law. So there is a part where they teach you the psychology of a woman, which is called as feminist jurisprudence. So feminist jurisprudence, see, being a male, we often are biased. We cannot help ourselves. Even if a person calls himself as feminist, but there are certain biases which we have. So we also have. So we were like, okay, feminism, but we are men. But that movie, as in how we were taught, Professor Moolchand Sharma invited the entire class and he said, I'm going to screen a movie. And then he played a movie called as Choker Bali by Rabindranath Tagore. It's a play by Rabindranath Tagore. And he played it. And, most of us were excited because Aishwarya Rai is in the movie. So she was hot property during that time. And we were all excited that she is acting in that movie. But can you believe it? By the time the movie ended, most students sitting inside the class had tears in their eyes, because the movie was not played the manner in which you might think. He would play and then he will talk to us. He'll discuss a concept of jurisprudence, feminist jurisprudence with us. He'll introduce us to a feel of our mother, which we might have never even thought about. He would introduce us to a quality of our sisters or our own batchmates, which we never even thought about. And then slowly he'll take us down that how law has been exploited, how society has been exploited, how women have also to be blamed for their state, and all through this movie. And by the time the movie ended, we realized that yes, why feminist jurisprudence exists and what exactly is feminism and in what form feminism should be seen. And that was like, the windows of our brain were open. We're like, my goodness, this is exactly what we came to law school for. Our perspective changed. And that's where faculties are the most important elements when you do law graduation. And as I said, I was lucky enough that such kind of people taught me. And I follow Professor Moolchand Sharma's lots of styles of teaching. I remember he used to take class and he never cared about attendance. He was like, I'll give you attendance. If you want to sit in the class, sit. Otherwise, please go. I don't want anyone to disturb. But, we all knew that his classes are interesting. So we should attend. Luckily for us, we attended all his classes. There are some idiots who did not attend because, they had greater things in life to do. But you know what? The final assessment paper was like a spine breaker for us. We were all prepared. We all learned jurisprudence. But you know what happened? He walks into the classroom and he says, okay, guys, here is your question paper. Collect it and leave. I'm giving you 24 hours. In 24 hours, submit the paper back to me in printed form. He said, you have to type in Word doc and mail it to me. Take the question paper, leave. I'm like, wow, wonderful. So this was like first time for us. It's called as open book test. So we all went and then we started reading the instructions. In the instructions, it was specifically mentioned you cannot copy. There were many rules, and it was written that if you copy, I'll catch you because I have a software called as Turnitin, which I'm going to use, and you'll fail. Now the thing is, whatever he had taught to us, the questions were a reflection of what he had taught, including Choker Bali as a movie. All the questions were from his class. Believe me, till the last hour of submission, each student inside the class was researching. We did not sleep the entire night. We were researching, we were reading, we were watching videos, we were interpreting things, we were analyzing things, and we were making answers which were just of 50 marks. But it is one of the most inspiring forms of assessment that we have learned. It was one of the most enjoyable assessment that we have learned, and none of them cheated. And those who did not attend the class, they flunked because they came to us for rescue. But when we started talking to them about concept of Kant, concept of this, they had no clue because they did not attend the class. You understand? That's the manner in which we were taught, and that's how we are teaching students also. Jindal Global Law School also, that's the same thing which is happening, because in India there is a specific way of teaching, while if you go globally, there are different ways of teaching law. For example, I would request each one of you to go to YouTube. I want you all to listen to a lecture by a professor. His name is Professor Michael Sandel, and he is talking about a concept called as justice. Michael Sandel, okay, that's his name. Please do listen to his video. If you're preparing for CLAT, if you're thinking about law, your concepts will be clear. He's taking that class in the Harvard auditorium, which sits maximum students, and maximum students are sitting there. He's one of the famous professors in Harvard, and he takes this class. It's attended by all the students. Listen the way he teaches law, and that's where faculties are important. And then library. Library was a place, playground and library and classroom. These are the three things which constitute law school. And in these three things, we wind up our 5 years, and we enjoy our life to the best. Believe me. As in, I remember my family had almost disowned me for 5 years because I was a day scholar initially, and then I became a hostler. Because of the love for it, because I wanted to live in hostel. I wanted to interact with my seniors. There were classes which some of our seniors would take 3 o'clock in the night. They will like, I am getting enlightenment. Come to my class, come to my room. We'll go sit, and at 3 o'clock, this guy is discussing about a new concept of international law, and we are all taking notes. Wow, Guruji, that's how we used to call him, Guruji. Wow, and these things are something which make up the 5 year, the entire thing. Now, I remember when I was about to take up law, my father was very critical of it. He was like, he's crazy. He should be doing engineering. He himself is an engineer, so he wanted me to take up engineering. It's very critical of it. But then today, my father catches hold of 12th standard students and tells students, you should do law. Look at my son; he has changed so much. You should be doing law. So that's how he has also changed, because there's a lot of social worth also which gets attached to it. To law graduation, if you do it seriously, there are people who are elder to you, who are the age of your father. They would also come to you for advices, because they know that you have a power so rare in nature, that you have a power to say what to understand what is right and what is wrong in society. And believe me, that power is very addictive, because a person who's so elder to you comes and literally begs you, come on, tell me, what should I do? And you are in the position of authority, and you are telling that person, oh, you have to do this. This is the right thing to do. And if you don't do it, you are in for trouble. That person might be the same person who was advising throughout your school life about how you should be a good student, what career choices you should be taking. And that person is coming for advice to you. Okay? That's how life changes in 5 years. Your entrance examination, yeah, believe me, all the subjects of entrance examination are also reflecting, very reflective of those 5 years of your life. Because in entrance examination, I'm very surprised that there is someone who has filed a petition that CLAT examination should also be conducted in vernacular languages. I don't know how the law schools are going to react to it, because law schools are very clear about one thing, that the law, the way it is written down, is written in English. We as a country are a common law country. Common law country means something which is derived from Commonwealth. Commonwealth, all those countries which were once under the British Dominion. So because we were under the British Dominion, and believe me, these are certain things which our history books won't speak about. Once you start doing law, you will understand. We gained independence not just because of the protests of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, etc., but also because the common law as it was enacted by the Britishers did not give them any power to govern us beyond a point when we started asking them questions. Because the problem in common law is, if you remember, I suggested at the start of the session that laws in our country are written down. If it is not written down, it is not a law. Similarly, common law, when it was enacted in Britain, they do not have a written constitution, but they have a written document called as Magna Carta. It was the first ever document where they wrote all the law, all the rights pertaining to the people. Then they had mentioned self-representation, equality, etc., etc. And they had taught the same things to Indian citizens. Now, Indian citizens were asking questions. People like K.M. Munshi, they went all the way to the House of Lords and fought cases for India, for Indian representation. And that was what was happening. And they were also asking questions which even the person who's sitting at the House of Lords or the apex body of jurisdiction or justice making was not able to answer. Because if there was a king in England, because there was no king, by that time they had already moved their king to Buckingham Palace and he was just a rubber stamp. Had there been a king, he would have, said it in an anarchist manner. That no, you Indians have to be there. You are subjected to our rule. But now there's a system which was asking questions, and we were asking questions through the system, and that system was as such that they had to fall in line. They had to answer whatever we were questioning. So we are asking them questions like why we are not getting representation. We are also educated. We have Bhim Rao Ambedkar with us, who writes or who drafts, who okays laws for you guys. That was the legend which Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar was. So these were the questions which those people were not able to answer. So these laws which we have adopted in our country are adopted from the British system, and they are all written down in British English. Their interpretation comes to the best form when it is read in British English. That's the reason most of the law entrance examinations are in English. And they also have this language worth 40 marks or something in almost all the entrance examinations. If you see the change of pattern in CLAT also, they're trying to understand your comprehension skills, which are very, very important when you are a law student. Because when I said I was giving presentation, I was in moot court, or I was even talking to my friend on a legal dispute, I cannot just blabber. What I need to do is I need to comprehend the laws as they're written down. I have to use the law or the interpretation of law to my benefit with the facts and also present evidences as it is written in a branch of law called as the Evidence Act. Only then I become a good lawyer, for which my interpretation skills have to be good. And all these subjects in your law entrance examinations are doing nothing, but they are just testing your interpretation skills. Critical reasoning, it's trying to test your critical reasoning skills. English, your basics of interpretation. General studies, how aware you are. Mathematics, frankly, I don't know why it is, probably for calculation purposes. But otherwise, LSAT, the examination which we take at Jindal, which is also the only test this year, which was, and the first test this year, which was announced as online, because we did a very good rain check and we were very clear that calling all the students to one place in different centers where we will not be physically present to administer the test is very risky. So long back, we were the first law school with LSAC who declared it outrightly that we will be having remote proctored AI enabled tests where you stay at your home, you give the examination. But then we will not compromise. We will not compromise with our calendar of semester. We'll be beginning on time. So that's what we have decided also, that August is usually when we begin. So we'll be beginning the classes also in August. So our test is also going to happen this month. And the examination as it is conducted by us is LSAT, where they test you only on 3 subjects. English, as I said, how important it is. Critical reasoning, how important it is, I've already mentioned, and also analytical reasoning. These 3 subjects, no negative marking, no mathematics, no general studies, but these basics which create a good law student. We just, we just test you on those skills, and depending upon the percentile, we call students. That's the process which we adopt, Ajinmu. And moreover, we do not conduct our entrance examination because, we follow the rules of natural justice. You cannot be a judge in your own cause. So we do not test our own students. We have hired a third party, which is LSAC USA, the same agency which conducts tests for Ivy League law schools in US like Harvard, Stanford, Yale, etc. So they are the ones who conduct this entrance examination. Their website is called as discoverlaw.in. If probably many of you have registered for LSAT, you know it. They are the ones who conduct it. They declare the results and they give the results to us, and we are the ones who then start calling students based on LSAT percentile. I hope we are clear with this. I hope I've also tried to pass over the message to you that how law graduation changed me, how these entrance examinations are important for you. Now I think it's the time for question and answer round, because if you allow me, I'll keep on speaking for 2-3 hours, because that's the kind of excitement I have when I speak about my law school life. But then, we have to respect the time also. So I would now invite over Jayesh sir, who could probably come and just moderate the session and moderate the questions which are asked. There's a question wing where you could ask me questions also. You can just, because we have muted most of the attendance, so you can write down your question and send it to me. So I have a few questions here. Okay. So one of the questions is, what about law after BTech? Yeah, there are many students who are doing this. BTech, after BTech, you cannot do the 5-year course. After BTech, what you could do is you can go for a 3-year LLB, and it is one of the best courses if you combine it with technology. Because with technology, there are various fields of law which are growing. But the sad thing about law is not many people from technical field are joining law. So you are going to be one of those rare people who are going to come and will have a great field to play around with. I'll tell you why. Because there is a field in law called as patents, where technical knowledge is very important. Why IIT Kharagpur has also come out with a degree in law. I hope you are aware about it. They've come out with it because patents is one area where you need scientific, knowledge about what all things are happening, the background between, these things. For example, I'll give you a beautiful case which one of my students handled. He was from sciences. He's not a BTech, but he was from sciences. An engineering student, one of his friends, had come out with a device where it was nothing. It was just a box. When you press a button, the tablet inside will straight away land into your mouth. So this is a device he wanted to take a patent. So as per him, this was new, and it was new during that time. So when he came out with this, you also need to show the utility of it. Now, if you go to a lawyer, he'll say, okay, you press a button, it goes inside. I don't know. It's novel, but it's new. But you cannot get a patent just by saying this. You have to explain it in front of the patents board. You know what happened? The student of mine who was from the sciences, he carried out a proper lab research report, and he was able to deduce that when a person takes a tablet in his hand and pops it into his mouth, there is a level of contamination which happens when he touches a tablet. With this device, that contamination is something which is taken care of, and it has a utility. It has a scientific utility. And you won't believe it, that person won a patent. Not just that he won a patent, he even sold it to a pharma company at a huge rate on royalty. And that's what technical knowledge can help you with. So I think after BTech, law is something that you should consider, given that you're properly oriented about this and you know where you are heading. Okay, what is the cutoff for JGLS this year? We cannot predict JGLS cutoff this year as of now because the examination has not happened. But last year, the JGLS cutoff was 60 percentile. So each year it has only increased because the number of students who are showing interest is also increasing. So last year it was 60 percentile, 60. So Tanvi is asking me, my question is how Jindal Global Law School is encouraging qualities of creating writing in students, as I'm a novelist. Oh, wonderful. And I'm seeking law. Oh, see, I'll tell you how, as a law student, not just as a Jindal Global Law student. In Jindal Global Law, you'll meet literature faculties who are separately hired in the campus, who are regular faculties, who will only be teaching students how to write, how to draft, pleadings, and these things are being taught because we are a completely humanities university. In a complete humanities university, we also have liberal arts school. We also have school of international affairs. So these faculties also offer you electives, but some of the electives are also about creative writing. And we follow the Oxford model. The Oxford model is interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary teaching. So it's like from morning 8 o'clock to afternoon you'll be attending your law school. By evening, as in by 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock to night 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, all other law schools will start offering you electives, which you have to choose, which you have to bid for. And you can even read those subjects. You're getting it? You can even attend classes from liberal arts. You can even attend classes from entrepreneurship, which is in business school. So creative writing is something that many students are adapting to. And not just that, in law, an answer which you are writing is basically creative writing. I'll explain how. Very simple. They give you a hypothetical situation where you have to support a side. You can open up the Bare Act and even look for the provisions which support your case, but then you cannot just keep on writing whatever is written in the book. You have to be creative. You have to interpret. You have to position it to the set of facts in which it supports your set of facts. Where else do you do that? Right? That's how not just Jindal Global Law School, all the law schools encourage people to think original and also make sure that you put it into writing. Right? Great. Can you educate us about music litigation? Music litigation is a part of copyright litigation because music industry is facing a lot of copyright issues, etc. And not just copyright issues, there are technical things also which come into music litigation. Some new instruments which people come out with, they want it to be patented. Some song lyricist may file a case against a person. So this is something which is related to. It's more of a field which is connected to the entertainment laws, etc. How will classes begin in August when all students will be preparing for CLAT and AILET? No, CLAT is happening in August. It's happening somewhere around that. So see, in case if you still want to go and appear for CLAT, you can do that and you can later on come and join. But I'll tell you why Jindal will start in August, because our semester calendar is created very much in consonance with our international collaboration. So our summer school with Harvard, Oxford, our student exchange program with Cornell, our study abroad programs, our dual degree programs, they all follow a set pattern of calendar. So we have to start in August. If and believe me, we are ready with it. We have a task force team which is already ready to see to it that when the student comes, we can check for infections. We can make sure that the belongings, because it's a residential campus, we can even curb the infection. So that's how we are prepared, and that's why we want to start in August. So if you are interested in CLAT and AILET, I think AILET can be given remote proctored and you can go for a center change and you can keep it in Delhi. But for CLAT, I'm very worried because in a closed chamber with air conditioning, usage of instruments which are not yours, I don't know what they are planning to, but anyway, the choice is yours. How much mark is needed in LSAT to get it? I've already answered that, as in 60 percentile, but I'll give you a safe score. Try to score about 80 percentile if you want to get admission in Jindal. Okay, how to prepare for LSAT exam in last 16 days? See, LSAT does not need a specific level of preparation. You can prepare by even sitting at home. You can seek help from Jayesh Academy. Like Jayesh sir, as far as I know, he's a great teacher of critical reasoning. He can help you out with critical reasoning. English is something which is rather a language which you can solve reading comprehension question. There are a lot of reading comprehension questions which are available. Plus, there is also a free website called as Khan Academy, based out of USA, which teaches students for free for LSAT. You can sit at home and you can prepare. There are diagnostic tests, etc., which are given there. You can even do that. Can we do courses which are are you asking about Jindal? Yes, Jindal, as I said, even law students are pursuing electives from liberal arts, from international affairs school, from architecture school, which we have. So they are doing electives which will be ranked, and the credits shall also be passed on to their mark sheet. So that's what students are doing, and even other school students are doing it in law school. So that's the interdisciplinary concept which we have. What is the difference between BA-LLB or BBA-LLB? If you ask me, there is no specific difference. BA-LLB is how it started. Okay. If you ask me, BA-LLB is how people used to do it. Now, Bar Council of India started realizing that a lot of students are also inclined towards the corporate sector. So it came out with a new package, which was BBA-LLB. So it's like in BBA, you will be taught subjects like principles of management, accountancy, economics. In BA-LLB, you will be taught subjects like political science, sociology, etc., etc. And both of them somewhere confined. I'll tell you one thing: a BA-LLB can go ahead and practice in corporate, because he is kind of a 360-degree guy. BBA-LLB is usually taken by students who have their eyes on corporate specific. So that's one of the differences, but not very valid also, because at the end of the day, it's a law degree. Is commerce or humanities good for law? No, you can be from any stream. I was from commerce. My best friend was from biology. He was from biology, and in my batch, I had students from various fields of life. So there is nothing specific. See, that is the reason why law school is called as law school, because everything starts right from the scratch in law school. Whatever you have been taught, just forget it, because in law school, everything will start from beginning. So whatever has been your background is not very reflective. I'll even give you an idea, because now you have given your examination also. In law school, your 12th examination marks also don't matter. For doing law, the percentage required is 45% and above. That's it. Even in placements, no one is even going to look at how much you have scored in your 12th. They're only going to look at your 5-year score sheet and your internships, your research, your publication, etc. Entrance examination is taken to check the ability of the student, but the colleges are made to improve the. Yes, obviously. See, it's like a medical school will test you on specific things, skills, which should be there, which a student should have to do medical. For example, if a Jain student gets into a medical school and then he is asked to do a post-mortem, or he's asked to do something, if he runs away, you realize the situation. There are certain skills which are required. So a student who's not good with English interpretation, if he gets into a law school, we have seen students struggling, believe me. As in some of my students, they really struggled really hard for the first 2 years in law school, because somehow they could have made better engineering students. But they somehow went to law school. They thought that, all the fun and fury which people are promoting. But once they entered the law school, they realized it's all about interpretations, right? So that's one of the skills which was required and which the student never actually thought about. And then he was in trouble. Law school will improve your ability, obviously, but it's the ability of understanding law which you have to imbibe, for which you have to have a specific ability also. That's why entrance examinations are taken, right? What is the interview criteria? There is no interview criteria, Diksha Ahuja. There is no interview. You crack LSAT, you're given a call letter, you come and join. That's how undergraduate courses in Jindal are. But on the other hand, for LLM, we do have interview. You have to create a SOP, etc. LLM is post-graduation. Is there a music related elective? I'm not sure about it. You need to check our website. On our website, even the electives have been given. Okay, so you just how is the class schedule of 3-year LLB? Also, 3-year LLB have the same value as C. 3-year schedule is very much like 5-year schedule, but 5-year students are taught 2 years extra. The schedule is bound to change. Now, about value, see, there are people who want 5-year students specifically, and there are people who want, as in when it comes to hiring and placement, the students who need 3-year students specifically. So the demand for both of them is very different, because the 3-year students are a bit more mature. So the vacancy and the placements which a 3-year student will get is, higher to a 5-year student. So that's the attitude of placement agencies which we have seen, because a 3-year student is a mature student as per them, even if it's just for 1 year, but that has been an attitude which we have seen in placement. So the value is no different, but yes, there are people who need youngsters who need those 5-year products, so they go for 5 years. So there is nothing called as value differentiation, but that's the perception which the people who are hiring may have or may not have. Because there have been placements in General Global Law School where the notice has gone for all law students. And the ones who sat in the placements were 3-year students also and 5-year students also. And in the selection also, there were 3-year students who were selected, the 5-year students who also. That's how it goes. Have you learned anything new from Jindal after joining it? Anything new? Yes, I've learned a lot of new concepts about international education, if you ask me. And I keep on learning. Thank you, Joshua, for that question. And I keep on learning. That has been my habit. I am someone who never says that I'm a law graduate. I say I'm a law student. And this is not me who's saying it. I borrowed it from Ram Jethmalani, who, when delivered a lecture, he said that when you take up law, you always become a student. So there is a lot of things which you can learn. So when I joined Jindal, there were a lot of things which I did not know about international education and global education, the level at which law graduation can be taught, the student can be exposed, and how the student can be made a global citizen. Because when I came to Jindal, I realized that Jindal students in 4 years can complete their BA LLB in India, and the next 2 years they are sent to US for doing JD, after which they can appear for the bar exam in US and they can start practicing in US. Something which I was not aware about. So that's something which Jindal is doing. That's why it's a global law school. So these are some new things which I have updated myself about. Isn't there a difference between LSAT India and LSAT? Oh, yes, Shivangi, there is a lot of difference between LSAT India and LSAT abroad, because LSAT abroad is no examination. LSAT is conducted in different areas, and LSAT is an examination which is a lot psychological in nature. So it's not made from rack picking, that you can pick some question from here, you can pick some question from there. There is a lot of intellectual, intellectual hard work which goes into making of an LSAT paper. It's made by professors from Harvard. It's made by people who are psychologists. They sit and they create a paper depending upon the psyche of a student. LSAT abroad, as we say, LSAT US or LSAT UK, is basically given by graduate students. In US, because they don't have a 5-year program, right? So you have to do 4 years of graduation and then you do JD, right? So the level of that student will be very different to our setup where we have a 5-year graduation. So in our setup, in the 5-year graduation, naturally the student who's just a 12th grader, the questions have to be different. So they do consider it, and there is a lot of difference. JDLS classes will begin campus on or off campus. See, we have planned on campus. That's what we are planning, unless and until the central government would come and object and ask us to delay. As of now, August 17 is the date when we plan to begin with our classes. Okay, that's the communication which has been given to us by the administration, and that is not online classes, that is offline classes. It took JSAT. I took JSAT now for 3LB and I got relation and also yes, Senthur, yes, you will be getting classes, as in that's what, as I said, this is something which has been told to us by the management. By August, your classes are going to begin. So you should start, preparing yourself for the same. See, I cannot. Akhilesh is asking me what is the expected cutoff this year. I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question, because unless until the paper doesn't happen, I get percentile, right? The cutoff. It depends upon the paper. So there are people, geniuses, who predict cutoffs, but I'm not one of them. Unless until the paper doesn't happen, I cannot give you a cutoff, right? Do Jindal School provide good placement? Okay, I'm going to share with you guys a document here, which I want all of you to go through. It's by Legally India. It's a third party, where Legally India, what they have done is they have carried out a analysis of all the law schools this year, including national law schools and their placements. Okay, to pass it over in the chat box, and each of you can see. So I've sent to all a link. So please read. So this is the link which all of you should go through it. It talks about 0-day placement. Now, what is 0-day placement? 0-day placement is even before the placement season begins, they do 0-day placements in law schools where law firms would come and they would hire students from law schools. And believe me, with pride, with complete pride, I say that Jindal Global Law School is the only law school this year which has done 0-day placements. No law school in India has done it. You can see the report. It's a third party which has done it. No law school has done it. Jindal Global Law School has done 24 0-day placement, which is the highest. Highest as in there is no one else there, right? So this is something which you can go through. The third party, you will get all our recruitment and our placement records here by a third party. Is there a date set for announcement of results of LSAT? If you're asking me, you can go to the website of LSAC. All the important dates are given there. Do you abide by the UGC guidelines for it? Yes, we have to abide by the UGC guidelines, but UGC has not mandated anything. So we are also lawyers. You have to remember. Okay. So we will not break or we will not flout even a single law. Jindal Global University has never ever done anything against the law. So it's not a mandate with UGC as it's merely recommended. And when we begin, we are also going to comply with all the orders, recommendations of government, and only then we can start. You getting it? So we will not run any risk. You should once come to the campus and see the kind of infrastructure which we have. We do believe that we can begin the campus, So that's how we have done. And if the government says, we will not start also. That we are even ready for that also. LSAT exam and SLAT exams. Okay, today is the last date for registering LSAT. LSAT is the only examination through which we take students for our 5-year program. The 5-year program, the entry is only through LSAT, and today is the last date for registration. LSAT will be conducted from 19th to 22nd. And slot distribution, everything is in the hands of LSAC, not us. We do not conduct the entrance examination. The entrance examination is conducted by LSAC, the US agency. Discoverlaw.in, that is the website. Please go, there is a helpline there. What you have to do is very simple. Go online and prescribe and subscribe to their helpline and ask the question. I know there are many students are appearing for both Symbiosis and LSAT. I think there is a process through which you can change your date also, but that is not in our hands. That is not at all in our hands. It is done by LSAC, and they will, they will respect whatever you have an ideas. Yes, this session will be shared on YouTube. We have a link on YouTube. You can go. You can just type OP Jindal University. So we will be uploading this entire session on YouTube also. So in case if you have missed out, you can surely listen to the session. Right? Any more questions? I think we are almost at the end of the session. If there are more questions. So Neeti Baraskar is asking me about 200 acres, future plans. See, I am not from the management, so I don't have any idea about all these things which you're asking. You seem to be more updated than me about those things. It's better you come down to the campus and ask the manager. How many students are accepted? I think you're asking me about the number of seats which are available. We have 600 seats in our 5-year program, 300 for BLLB, 300 for BBLLB. 65 is the batch size in a classroom. How soon does Jindal give acceptance letter once LSAT? We do it ASAP. It's like even if the results are declared at 2 o'clock in the night, we have a guy, we have a system where the offer letters will be sent within 48 hours to the students. The moment the LSAT results are declared, within 48 hours, you'll get an offer letter. How can we go abroad after completing 5 years? There are 2 ways of doing it. Either when you are in Jindal, you create a good portfolio of yours, good publications, maintain good relationship with professors here who are known in Ivy League law schools also, and start applying for scholarships. And as far as I know, there are many Jindal students who win scholarships, prestigious scholarships. And with that scholarship, you can go abroad. And Jindal is one of those universities which is now, even recognized by universities in US, Australia, you go to UK, European countries, it's accepted. So we do have a value there also. So when you are approaching them from Jindal, if you meet their parameters of essay writing, etc., they do. The second way is get into Jindal, maintain a certain CGPA. We have a dual degree program, which I just mentioned, that 4 years of law here and 2 years of JD abroad. You can subscribe to that. Subscribing to that, what you could probably do is you can go abroad for 2 years of JD there and 4 years of law here, and then you can practice there also after cracking the bar exam there. So there are 2 ways of doing it. But if you want to do dual degree, which I just mentioned, there is a selection process also, right? There's a selection process here where you have to maintain a CGPA, good academic record, good disciplinary record, because there's a selection process through which it's sent. Okay, submitting scholarship test is compulsory on July 12th. No, we have extended the dates of scholarship, and the scholarship date has been extended to the submission of Jindal application form has been extended to July 31st. So don't worry about it. So July 12th is not the date. You can submit it till July 31st as well. Any more questions, guys? It's missing Jay sir. I thought he had some questions. He'll come and ask those. Any more questions if you have?
Yeah, thank you, Deepu, for that wonderful session. Am I audible, Deepu?
Yeah. You are.
Okay, fine. So I have a few different type of questions other than academics. All right.
Okay.
One question is related to what you just said about pursuing a law course after engineering, right? So even some of my students who have done engineering or any other graduation, they come back and ask me, sir, what's the basic difference between a 5-year program and a 3-year program which some law universities offer? So Deepu, could you just throw some light on this?
Yeah, sure, 100%. See, integrated program was created basically with a view for 12 students, the ones who have just graduated out of school. So the idea was those students who are willing to do law, they have combined these two courses like BA LLB or BBA LLB. They've combined. So a 5-year student will be taught 2 subjects of arts, which is BA, and 3 subjects of law. So that's how it has been made. That's how it has been packaged. So they study law for 5 years, and these are the combination of subjects which they will be taught. On the other hand, any student who does 3 years of graduation and then he comes and he joins the 3-year law, this student will not be taught subjects like political science or for BBA like principles of management. He'll be studying right from law.
Okay.
Studying right from law, and from the very first semester itself, he'll be taught things like law of torts, Indian Penal Code, family law, etc. So that's the difference. Otherwise, at the end of the day, it's a law course. So there are many people who are even working professionals. Like this year, we have people who are leaving their job in Deloitte and they're coming down to Jindal campus to do law, because somehow they have this kind of enlightenment. They want to do law. So that is also one of those ways of doing it.
But are they doing 3-year program or 5-year program at Jindal?
3-year program. 5-year program they cannot do, and it's not recommended also. Though they can appear for the test and they can go for the 5-year program, but if a person is already a graduate, we recommend them the 3-year program.
So are there any restrictions by the Bar Council that 3-year law graduates cannot practice?
There used to be restrictions, but now there are no restrictions. But then the person will have to sit with school students. So if he's already graduate, he may have to come and sit.
That's not the point. My question is, does the Bar Council have any restrictions that 3-year law graduates cannot practice in a court of law, cannot appear for litigation?
No. They can. In fact, when I joined litigation as a profession, I remember one of my toughest competitors in court were all from 3-year law. They were all from Delhi, and they gave us a run for our money. They're really good, as in the ones who are coming from Delhi University, and now the ones who we are churning out from our university. They're really good.
Okay.
So But one more thing I want to add is, even if you have done 5-year program, even if you have done 3-year program, all the graduates now have to appear, if they want to practice law, have to appear for an examination called as AIBE, which is All India Bar Exam. Once they have given this exam, only then they can practice. So this is something which Bar Council of India has come out with.
Okay. Now see, during this COVID lockdown and the entire academic calendar going for a toss, many students, not just law students, my management students, BBA students, and law students have come to me and asked, sir, is this the right time to pursue any course, whatever it be? Should we take a 1-year break and prepare for the entrance exams and come up with a better score so that our prospects are better? So I say that, even if it's COVID, admissions might start. The only thing is it might get delayed. So you should continue your own academic cycle and don't venture to take a year break. What is your take on this? Should the students go for a break because, the post-COVID scenario is totally unpredictable, right? So what is your take on this? Should the students see this just as a 1 month, 2 month delay, or should they take a 1-year break and wait for things to settle down?
Jay sir, what I believe is this decision should not be taken by both of us. Rather, the student has to sit and think what does he have in store for him. For example, if he's someone who's running against time, that means he's someone who wants to get into a job quick, he wants to learn a skill quick, he wants to start earning quick, then I think he doesn't have COVID, no COVID. There is you can also look at worst case scenarios that this might not just go away. This is going to be, as in, our governments are encouraging us to live with it. So what are we looking at? What kind of profession are we looking at? Now there are many professions which may just wind up all of a sudden.
Right.
It may just go off. So now whatever, like you might have heard that howsoever we criticize this person, Donald Trump, is already come out with a law that is going to look into skills more than the graduation or the degree of a person. Now skills much more than any time are going to be more important, and any student who's preparing or who's sitting at home preparing for an entrance examination should not waste any time. Even if they are preparing, taking a 1-year drop, there are so many courses which are available online, Coursera, edX, etc. They should try to learn at least those skills also. So I'm someone who's always against drops. I recommend that students, even if they're doing drop, they should additionally start learning something, because drop is always a risk. You can study with a drop also, and you can enroll yourself in a course, keep on studying also. Now in this COVID situation, it has changed completely. I would rather say park yourself somewhere comfortable, and side by side you can prepare also, because if the situation goes out of hand, at least you have something in your hand. And moreover, with online classes, you also have time that you can sit and you can prepare, right? So I would say just get into any of the courses, not just any of the courses, some good courses, some good universities which have good reputation, which have good faculty, and try to garner knowledge. Don't get stagnated. And whatever processes or whatever entrance examinations you are preparing for, you can do that side by side also. But there is no point in the present scenario that you can just rest and say, okay, I'm prepared, because that is just delaying a catastrophe which can be predicted.
Right. See, some of my students had this very interesting yet very valid doubt. Like when you join a law school, like a National Law School or Jindal for that matter, where the hostel fee is included in the fee, the hostel fees. So in case it's COVID and the classes get delayed for 6 months and it's only online classes and the students don't have to really come to the campus, then will there be a waiver on the hostel fee?
100% there is going to be a waiver. We have already discussed this, and it is reasonable also. As in, if you are not here, what would you pay us for? Very simple. So we are not going to charge. Even if we have charged, we are going to pay it off to you. We had a major meeting where even the Vice Chancellor sir was there, where it was decided, and it was very clear, because this is one of, as in, this is not a rare question. This is being asked to us everywhere, wherever we are taking sessions.
So do you think post-COVID life? Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Post-COVID life in campus, Jindal or any campus XYZ, will it be same vibrant as it used to be, or do you think people will be slightly skeptical to interact? Like, will they still maintain social distancing? And what do you think? What's your take on this?
Yeah, I think, the safest bet in this situation is a residential campus, because the most riskiest point is the entry of students. If you are able to manage properly, like we learned it from, like I said, Cochin Airport, the way we were frisked and the way we were screened. So it impressed our vice chancellor also very much. So he was like, the place where you can basically take care of it is the entry point. Once the students are inside, it's all about us and them, and each of the staff, each of the member who's working in our campus is properly checked, medically checked, certified, and only then we'll begin with the campus. That's very clear.
Okay.
He is very clear that the entry process also, there's a task force which has been set up. They will be moderating it properly, that not all the students in one go would be asked to come. Specific timings will be given on which they'll be coming. They have to carry a health checkup card also. There will be health professionals who will be deployed even at the gate, who will be even checking those students, and only then. And once the students are inside, life inside the campus, see, we cannot restrict students from, enjoying the life which they have. We have a state-of-art health center inside our campus. You can go to our, YouTube channel and you can see there is a video where we have seen. So even if there is a slightest thing where we can, we can see that something is going to happen, we are going to take care of it. As I said, we believe that academics should not take a standstill just because these things are happening. And moreover, our semesters, our semester channels, our international collaborations, everything will go for a toss. And that's why we're trying not to let this thing be affected. So yes, there are going to be certain compromises which both students, faculties, we as administration, executives, etc., will have to take, and that will be, that's how, what I said, management. We'll have to manage all these things, and there will be certain compromises also.
Right, I get it. Now, see, my next question is, see, you have seen a lot of campuses where you studied and then where you went and took classes and where you have been working as a faculty member. My question is, specifically, do you find any difference in a campus life in a law college compared to an engineering college or arts and science campus? How is life in a law school campus different when compared with all these other colleges?
Yeah, every campus has its own culture, and
I mean,
in law
talk from a perspective of Jindal also.
Yeah, every law school has its own culture, and I think, that culture is something. If as in we used to go to IITs also for fest, etc. So the best thing about these universities, if I put them in a single umbrella, is that people from different states, cities come, and they bring with them different kinds of cultures and different kinds of knowledge and knowledge sharings, etc., which is very fun. As in, I remember sitting with a student from Bihar, and I used to think that Bihar students are like blah blah. That was a prejudice, or that was a myth which I had, which completely vanished the moment I started sitting with them. They are the best friends I have even today. The kind of knowledge they have is such good, and they are very good people. They're like noble, and they're very helping also. Similarly, people from Haryana, they are seen to be, short-tempered people, but they are also. So this is one of those things which happens when you go to such kind of university. Now, law school specifically, how are they different? In law school, the best part of it is there's a culture of senior junior, which I have not seen anywhere else, because the senior whom you are going to have in your college is also going to be a senior in your litigation field, in your corporate sector also. And the kind of bonding which I have seen in law school is something which I have not seen in anywhere else. Yeah, medical school, I've seen it, but then again, there's like they change their streams, and someone becomes a pediatric, someone becomes a gynecologist. But
So you
here,
mean to say that in a law school, the interaction is much more with the seniors and
yes,
you have a
yes,
strong alumni
it's
network.
crazy. It's crazy. And then we have school of thoughts. Like I said, I was a Marxist. So you'll have people who have political differences, who have school of thought differences, and you can see debates going on. Evening times are
So
for
is
debate.
politics allowed in your campus?
Sorry?
Is politics allowed in your campus?
See, we have a student council. They hold elections also, and they are very powerful in the campus. Powerful even to the effect that they decide what should be there in the menu in the hostel mess. So that's the kind of a power given to them. And student council elections are about to begin. So we keep getting mails from students also. So that's there, but not politics which we say in JNU. So that level is not there. Yeah,
Oh, so
that
you mean
level
to
is
say that it's not the political party politics, it's the students themselves
it's the
who
students, yeah.
organize into group.
Yes, yes, yes. Because they are more, I would say these students are more busier because the kind of curriculum and the kind of extracurriculars are as such that they seldom don't get time for all these things.
Is the law school campus inside the entire university campus, or is it kind of separated from the other
No, no, no.
campuses?
It's one single campus which we have, and inside that all the schools are there. The classes are also exchanged. The faculties. It's like a universal arrangement which we have.
So in case, I mean, obviously you'd be having annual day celebrations, fest, competitions, extracurricular activities. So do law students specifically get time to participate in all that, or it's a very cramped
Yes,
schedule
yes,
for law
yes,
students?
yes. Yeah, yeah. We have two fests. One is a cultural fest, which is called as Biswamil. The other is Magnus, which is a sports fest. So during these times, the classes get suspended to facilitate these things, and they have been made semester-wise also. One semester will be Biswamil, one semester will be Magnus, and that dates faculties and students. They have a good arrangement that this time specifically the students will be given off. And why? Because this time it's not just us. We also invite all the universities from outside also. So national law schools, IITs, they also come, and that's the kind of a fest which, yeah.
What's the kind of restrictions you have in
Super
campus?
beautiful.
Because, of late, some of my students who had been to private universities, they had come back to me and they did not complain much, but they said that, the restrictions are too severe in the campus, especially when it comes to hostel life, entry, exit time. So what are the kind of restrictions you have in your campus with respect to student freedom?
Okay, student freedom. See, inside the campus, inside our campus, restrictions are not there. Specifically for library timings, etc., there is a library which always remains open. Yes, there are restrictions, but these restrictions are subject to the parents' consent. If a parent consents to it, the warden or anyone who is there for restriction, he will not have an objection unless until the students are not there inside the campus. To go outside the campus, the student needs to have express permission from the parents. Because see, we are on the outskirts of Haryana. So safety and security is also something we are very, very particular about. So if you come down to the campus also, you'll see that we have scanners like they have in airport to scan the luggage also. So we have a police station right outside the campus. So that's the kind of safety which we have taken into consideration. So, but even then, if a student wants to move outside, he has to have express permission from the parent, which should be mailed or communicated by the parent himself to the warden. Only then the students are permitted.
Oh, that's really great. And
Yeah.
how about a career guidance and placement unit? Like for example, if a law student wants to know about what are the future career options he can choose. Let's say by third year or fourth year, he or she wants to make a proper career decision, like he wants to do an MBA or he wants to pursue LLM, or he or she would like to move out of the country and pursue higher studies and then settle. So are there enough competent people, not just in general, most of the law schools, do they have a full-fledged career guidance unit and seminars, and people come and talk about various career options while pursuing law? So what are the facilities available in your campus specifically?
Okay, so we have an Office of Career Services. It's called as OCS, Office of Career Services. Their work is 24/7, 365 days. They are only working on students' portfolios. So when a student joins our campus, they are also shared the student's profile, and they would be working on the student's profile, what the student is doing, what all internship this person is going. Even they are the ones who get internship opportunities also. They get opportunities, but the student has to back it. So being in general, you'll get a lot of opportunities which will come from all the top tier law firms to top corporates. They will be communicating the same. With this, the Office of Career Services does one more thing. They will be organizing seminars. They will be organizing workshops for our students. like what you said, to make sure that they are in touch with the times, to make sure that they are also gaining all those skills also, which is required or as deemed by the industry. For example, there are times when the top law firm sends their senior partners who come and orient the student that in the coming next 5 years, what are the new areas of law where they may have vacancy or they require people. So that kind of orientation also happens. So all these talks are there on our YouTube. If you go to Jindal Global Law School channel, you will also see the lectures by these people where OCS has arranged. So Shashi Tharoor sir is one of the most, every year he would come once to our campus. And when he comes, he orients the students about global affairs and what is happening, how law is marrying now global affairs and what are the things. So these are the kind of, famous personalities who visit us.
Okay. And what about, people who are serving jurists or eminent lawyers? Do they come and deliver lectures or take sessions just to, enlighten students about what is really happening in the outside world?
Yeah, as we speak at about 6:30, we are going to have a webinar, where people from corporate world are going to, as in people from Civil Amarchand Mangaldas. So they are doing it online right now because they cannot come to the campus. Otherwise, yes, people from judiciary, people from the political scenario, people from the corporate world. In fact, we very recently concluded a webinar where we had first generation lawyers, as in people who never had lawyers in their family, and our first generation lawyers come and talk to the students that how they built their career. And they are all very famous lawyers in their own field. So they were also taking webinars. So as I said, if you want to listen, as in students want to listen to all of them, all these webinars are also there on our YouTube channel. And I would request all those, first generation lawyers to go and listen to that webinar, because that was one of the most famous webinars which we have. We are conducting it online because they cannot come to the campus because of the lockdown situation and all. So, we are conducting. So these things keep on happening.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So I think
we had
the students are also
officers colloquium also. We had judicial officers colloquium also. And one of the judges who came for that colloquium was Justice Indu Malhotra, very famous in Kerala. The one who gave a opinion in the Sabrimala case.
Sabrimala,
She was also
right.
there. I think today also she is in one of the webinars at 6:30.
Okay. Okay, I think that was a very, very informative session on life on a law campus, law school campus. And I think most of the students are also done with their doubts. I think, you should take more doubts from students individually as well and try to clear them, because it was a very, very useful and informative session. I think a few more doubts have come up in the question session.
Yeah, I'll just go through it. Will the tuition fee be reduced if the classes? The tuition fees will not be reduced. Your accommodation charges will be given back to you. See, tuition fees is one of those basic things which we are charging the highest, and I'll also tell you why. If I am hiring a person who studied from Harvard, Stanford, or Yale, I cannot expect that person to work with me at a package which any other, university is not able to afford. So I have to pay that person, and that person stays with us in one of the best facilities where the university is also providing all facilities to the person, as in residential, everything is being provided. We are a self-funding university. Where do we get our money from? It's the tuition fees, right? Because even the residential fees which we are taking from student goes into the residential charges, etc. Right? So tuition fees will not be reduced. Sorry, Nathan, to disappoint you, but that is something which I don't have a idea about also. Can we register for OP Jindal after writing yeah, you can. 31st July is the last date for registering with Jindal. So you can give the exam and you can register also. There was a bidding system mentioned in the semester exchange. No, I did not talk about bidding system in semester exchange program. Bidding system is for electives. For example, School of Liberal Arts is offering, psychology. School of Business is offering entrepreneurship. So they will open up the window and you have to bid for these electives. So the ones who bid win it, and it's open for us, because if everyone bids and there is no space in the classroom, it creates a chaos, right? So that's how the bidding process starts, and it is only for not for semester exchange. Okay, well, which fest students go to. General students go for almost all the fests in national law schools. There are a lot of fests which is conducted, and it's upon them. Is it easy to everyone to manage? Is it easy to everyone to manage? Is the opinion that okay, manage? I don't know what you refer to, Pavani, but management is something. See, I took a lecture. I'm taking a series of lectures on YouTube. It's called as MPhil, sorry, DK Phil, where I'm talking about building a new political philosophy. So I started with telling my background to the student, where I talked about how my law schooling was, because when I went for the entrance examination and when I came out, the first question my father asked me was, will you be able to adjust to this environment? I said, what environment? He said, just take a look around and talk to me. So when I took a look around, I did not notice anything, but my father was like, look at all the cars parked here. It's only our vehicle which does not have a beacon light. So during that time, beacon light was given to bureaucrats, IPS officers also. That was when I realized, and I said, no, I will be able to. But believe me, 5 years I studied with best brains and also the elite people in the society. But that is not how it is now. Now, more and more common people are also taking up law. I belong to a middle class family. My dad was an engineer with BHL. He knew that I've started taking life seriously. That was when he started investing. So if that kind of seriousness is there, because law school will keep you a lot of busy. And in that busy culture, if you know what your objectives are, if you know what your ideas are, what you want to achieve, things become easy for you. Then all these things are just part and parcel of it. About managing law school, this is how you manage law school. I managed it. I managed 5 years in national law school. Then I did my LLM. I even was working. In fact, I was in a online course of Harvard Graduate School of Education, where I was even interacting with people from Stanford and Yale, etc. But it was fun the way we were interacting, etc. So it's upon you. It's about your attitude, right? So it's easy. It's not something which you should be bothered about at this stage. Just stay focused and just be clear about what your objectives are. Okay. I think we are at the end of the session. Thank you, Jayesh sir. Thank you, Jayesh Academy, for partnering with us and also inviting students of Jayesh Academy to us. And thank you to all the attendees from Pan India who came. And I could see there are a lot of students from Pan India who have also joined us. Today is the last date for filling up of LSAT, which is the test LSAT India, which is a test which we take for our 5-year program. I also want to introduce you to a new course which we have launched, which is called as BA Legal Studies. It's a 3-year graduate course in legal theory of law. So legal studies is something which we have created out of a research which we did. Like there are a lot of people who want to do law later on, but they do BA, BBA, and BCom and many other things, and then they do law.
So how would that be useful?
Yeah, I'll tell. It's very simple. This is a course for those students who are still not very sure that they want to do law. They're like, do they want to do the 5-year program or not? Because in 5-year program, once you're inside, you have to get out after 5 years. You cannot take a break. You cannot get out in 3rd year and say, give me my degree of BA. That is not done. It's an integrated program. So those kind of students who still want to explore the legal theory, etc., they can do BA legal studies for 3 years, and then they can do 3 years of law. Now, the marriage of BA legal theory, legal studies, and law is much more effective to any other graduation, because once when you do law, the 3-year law, the first few months are hiccup months for general students. That's what we have seen, because to gulp in the theories of law is a bit difficult. I'll tell you how. International law, the moment we say, people think that it's a custom-made law where people can be subjected to their actions, etc. While it works on a very different field, it has a theory behind it that countries have come together and they have created model laws, and these model laws may or may not be adopted by the member countries. Who gets to become a member? What are the dynamics which are running around is what legal theory is all about. Now, in BA legal studies, we are teaching students those things. Another thing, family law. Family law, students are clueless. The moment they start studying, they're like, okay, husband and wife, as we see it, husband and wife are like, relations of love, affection, etc. But in legal theory, they will teach you that why marriage? what is the concept of marriage, how it is a social arrangement, how it is also sacrosanct, and how two people with equal rights are coming and getting into a bonding of these kind. So the theory behind law for 3 years with ethics and also practical things like writing, creative writing, etc. are taught. So you can go to our website where BA Legal Studies entire curriculum is given. You can go through it. So any student who is still very dual-minded about the 5-year program can also apply for BA Legal Studies. That's a new course which we have launched. So even that we are taking.
Jindal the only place which has this course? Is Jindal the only place which is Jindal University the only place which has this course?
Yes, we are the ones who have launched it in India, and I'm being told that slowly the National Law School are also thinking about starting this course.
So it's UGC approved, it's a recognized degree, right?
Yes, absolutely. We are also an institution of eminence, so we have that power to, come out with degrees. So we have come out. Now they are also. It's a humanities course, so it's a BA honors program, and it's in legal theory. So it's a very recognized course. In fact, it's an international. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I guess we have reached the end of the session, and if there are any more questions, etc., which you have, you can just putting in my email ID here. To all the participants, I'm sending it, so you can get any questions you have. You may have. You can just email it to me, and you can seek your answers through this email ID. Okay. Thank you, Jay, sir. Thank you for sparing your time. I understand
thank you, Deepu. It was a wonderful session. Thank you so much. Thank you, the audience, for such nice questions and interactive session. Thank you so much, all of you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.